What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Redstone Fundamentals. In this episode, I hope to teach you everything I know about the Tripwire Hook. Hopefully, you'll learn something new in this video. If I miss anything, please feel free to drop that in the comments below. Anyways, let's just get right into it. Alright, to craft a tripwire hook, all you need is one wood plank, one stick, and one iron ingot, and it will actually yield 2 tripwire hooks, which is nice because in order to use the tripwire hook, you do need 2. So it's actually nice that these ingredients here will give you the 2 you need in order to make one tripwire contraption. You can also find tripwire hooks naturally generated inside each jungle temple. You'll find quite a few in there attached to some of the booby traps that the temple has. You can also obtain tripwire hooks by fishing. You can't obtain one with trading a villager, but you can trade tripwire hooks with villagers. And they will give you emeralds, I think, for 8 tripwire hooks. The tripwire hook is used as an ingredient in 2 recipes, one being the crossbow and one being the trap chest. A tripwire hook can be placed on any side of a block, but it cannot be placed on the bottom or the top. The tripwire hook can be placed on the backs of stairs, whether the stairs are upright or upside down. A tripwire hook can also be placed on an open trap door. I guess that assumes that the hole is on the ground and not in the wall. It can also be placed on a door, and of course, depending on which orientation the door has, you can place a tripwire hook on the door. However, with the trap door and the door, as soon as you open or close the door, the tripwire hook will break. Tripwire hooks can also be placed on glass blocks, composters, sponges, whether wet or dry, TNT blocks, ice blocks, dispensers, droppers, pistons. Although any way you place a tripwire hook, even on the side or back of a piston, as soon as it is activated, the tripwire hook will break. You can place them on hay bales, on note blocks, beacons, and shulker boxes. You cannot place tripwire hooks on chests, on walls, chain links, end rods, iron bars, leaf blocks, cauldrons, slabs, either bottom half or top half. It doesn't matter. You still can't place a tripwire hook, or hoppers. So the way a tripwire hook works is it needs to be, you have to use 2 of them, as well as a piece of string, at least 1 in length, in between the 2 tripwire hooks. When either an item or a mob or a player passes through the string area, that will activate the redstone signal. But as you can see, the redstone signal, when activated, does not activate redstone where the string is in front of the tripwire hooks. There's no signal being sent there. The signal comes on the from the block that the tripwire hook is connected to, as you can see on this side, as well as on this side. If we come closer here, it does also power redstone that is underneath the block that the tripwire hook is sitting on, as you can see here. When you do trip a tripwire hook, it does send out a full redstone signal. And like I said, it also works if you not only players trip the tripwire hook, but items also. In order to break a tripwire hook, you can break it with either your hand or any tool. You can also break it by trying to push the tripwire hook with a piston, like so. You can also break a tripwire hook by using a piston to move the block that the tripwire hook is attached to, like so. A tripwire hook will also break if it comes in contact with lava, which obviously if it does, then it doesn't drop anything, it just gets destroyed. But if it also comes in contact with water, it will break as well. All right, so I wanted to actually show you where I use tripwire hooks. So this is just my redstone / experiment world. And I've built this contraption here, which I used in a server that I played on with a bunch of my Twitch followers. And what it is it's essentially a store that customers can come to and purchase a villager, and they can use the villager and take it back to their base and use it for put them in a potato farm or whatever it is that they want to try and automate, or make them a librarian and trade books and try and get, you know, mending or whatever. So how this works is I had a villager breeder attached here, and all of the villagers would just flow down into this area. They are sitting just above this powered rail, I guess just beside this powered rail here. And then I have a tripwire hook here, which is actually 2 blocks above this rail. So there's actually an empty space here, and then the tripwire hook. And then I have another tripwire hook here, which is technically only 1 block above this rail. And then inside this, I have a bunch of mine carts, which I'll get into why I have those in a minute. And I have a third tripwire hook, which is connected here, which, as you notice, like I was mentioning previously, that when you do trip it, there's no redstone signal where the string comes from. So it's not actually connected to this powered rail. The purpose of this one I'll get into in a minute. I'll just start over here at the beginning. So how this works is essentially I had a mine cart, an empty mine cart would travel from here down the track. And if you aren't aware of how rails and mine carts work, when a mine cart comes into an intersection like this, if it comes into it this way, it doesn't turn, it just hops onto this one and continues to go straight. However, if a minecart came down this way, it would obviously follow the turn and carry on this way. So what I had is, if the minecart was empty and did not capture a villager, I wanted the minecart to go straight up this ramp and then come back down and head back to try and collect a villager again. So what it does is it comes down here, and because the minecart is only 1 block high, it does not trip this tripwire hook, right? So it goes right underneath, hops onto this track, and continues going straight. Now this tripwire hook, the purpose of this one is because the issue is if a minecart comes down this way, right now it's set to turn and go this way, but we need it to go straight. So what it does is when it comes down this track, it actually trips this tripwire hook, which powers this intersection, which, as you can see, allows this to change tracks so that when the minecart comes down, it actually hops on here and continues straight. So it continues straight, and once it does capture a villager, then it brings the villager down this way. And then what happens is, because the villager sits another block above the minecart, the villager would trip this tripwire hook, and we need that to happen because we want this track to change so that the villager doesn't go up straight. Instead, the villager turns and comes this way. So then we come to the final spot. So what this is for is the villager would come here and actually sit on this unpowered rail. So unpowered rails act like brakes for a minecart. So the minecart would stop here with a villager, and it would constantly be activating this tripwire hook. Now in the server where I actually built this, I had a redstone signal coming from these tripwire hooks up to this lamp, like I had mentioned. And that way, when another player came in, they could see if the lamp was on, there was a villager here waiting to be purchased. So then what happened was, when they put in the proper payment, a redstone signal was sent down to this rail, which would activate the rail, which would then release the villager, allow him to travel up into the store, and then the player could obviously take them back to their base, put them into a potato farm or a carrot farm, or a villager breeder for themselves, or turn them into a librarian, or whatever it is they wanted to do with the villager. But as they did that, a couple things happened. So as they made the proper payment, it activated this rail, which released the villager, which obviously, if it released the villager, that light would turn off because there is no longer a villager ready to be purchased. But it also sent a signal to this dispenser, which released another empty minecart. So once that minecart was released, it would attach itself to this rail, slide down, activating this tripwire hook again, which allows it to hop straight, come over here, collect a villager, come down, and repeat the process over again, parking the new villager onto this block, lighting up the light again, and allowing the next customer to come in and purchase a villager. So I want to demonstrate that now. I want to see if I can actually start it over here so you can see that the minecart will travel straight across, come back straight across, collect a villager, go this way, and then because the villager tripped the tripwire hook, it actually allowed them to turn and park on this spot ready to be purchased. All right, guys, but that is it for the episode today. I hope you liked it. If you did, feel free to smash that like button. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and hit the little bell icon so you can be notified when I drop more episodes just like this one. All right, guys. And again, if I did miss anything or if you've used tripwire hooks for anything, please let me know what you used them for down in the comments. Please let me know what I missed down in the comments. And if you have any other questions, also leave those down in the comments. I love you guys. Thank you very much. And I will see you in the next episode.